The guy who just pulled up in the brand new BMW has $47 in his checking account. That designer bag your coworker bought cost more than her entire emergency fund. And the influencer flexing the rooftop pool is 3 months behind on rent. None of them are rich. They just look rich. And looking rich is a totally different bank account. I call the distance between the image and the actual money the broke-rich gap. The wider that gap, the more someone is performing wealth instead of owning it. And by the end of this, you'll spot it in anyone in about 10 seconds, including, maybe, in your own spending. But we'll get to that. There are 10 tells, and sign number 7 fools almost everybody. But first, here's the number that quietly proves this whole thing. Nearly half of Americans with credit cards carry a balance every single month. Therefore, a lot of the wealth you see around you isn't savings. It's borrowed performance, rented by the month. So let's find out who's actually rich and who's just renting the costume. Sign 1. They talk about money constantly. The truly wealthy almost never bring up their net worth, but the fake rich can't stop. They name drop the watch, the deal, the trip, the price of everything. But the real money is quiet, because when you have it, you have nothing to prove. So the loudest person about money in the room usually has the least. Sign 2. Everything they own is the cheapest version of something expensive. The entry-level luxury car, the smallest designer logo, the bottom-tier premium everything. The point isn't the product, it's the badge, the proof they belong. And here's who profits from that. Brands sell a stripped-down model at a luxury price to catch people chasing the logo. So the badge costs them thousands and buys them an image, not an asset. The real rich either skip the logo entirely or buy the full thing in cash. Sign 3. Their lifestyle perfectly matches their paycheck every single month. Money comes in on the 1st, and by the 30th, it's all become stuff. Money pros called this lifestyle creep. As a general rule, every raise just quietly buys a slightly bigger life. But the genuinely wealthy let the gap between earning and spending grow on purpose. So the fake rich earn to spend, and the real rich earn to keep. 2 people can earn the exact same paycheck and end up worlds apart. Quick favor before sign 4. If the broke-rich gap is already clicking, subscribe. This channel is built to make money make sense. Sign 4. They finance things that should never be financed. A handbag in 4 payments. A vacation on a card. A watch on buy, now pay later. Buy now, pay later feels free, but it's a quiet loan in a friendly costume. And here's who profits. Lenders make money when you stretch a purchase you couldn't afford in full. So the bag is theirs, but the debt is the only thing they truly own. And a $500 bag financed over a year can quietly cost $600 or $700. They paid extra for the privilege of not being able to pay. Sign 5. They're allergic to boring money. Index funds, emergency savings, a paid-off car. To them, that's invisible and unsexy. But remember the quiet truth. Real wealth is quieter, almost boring. The fake rich need their money to be visible. So they skip the boring moves that actually build it. And boring, compounding, invisible money is exactly how the quietly wealthy pull ahead. Sign 6. Every purchase is a performance for an audience. They buy the thing. But the real product is the photo, the post, the reaction. The car keys land on the table logo up so everyone sees the badge, but spending money to impress strangers is the most expensive habit there is. So their wealth lives on a screen, and screens don't earn interest. The likes feel like a return, but they never hit the bank account. Now sign 7, the one that fools almost everybody, including smart people. Sign 7. They're house poor and car poor at the same time. The big house and the luxury car scream success, but together they swallow almost the entire paycheck. This one fools people because the assets look real. A house, a car, those are investments, right? But the house you can barely afford and a car that loses value drain wealth monthly. As a general rule, lenders love this most of all. A bigger mortgage and a bigger car loan just mean bigger interest for them. So they look the most successful on this list, and maybe the closest to the edge. The bigger the show, the thinner the safety net underneath. One missed bonus, one slow month, and the whole picture cracks overnight. Sign 8. They have zero margin for a single surprise. A flat tire, a vet bill, a broken phone, and the whole lifestyle wobbles. Remember the start. Surveys keep finding many people can't cover a small emergency without borrowing. The quietly wealthy barely notice that same surprise. To them, it's a Tuesday, not a crisis. So the real tell isn't the car in the driveway. It's what happens when life throws one curveball. Sign 9. They one up everyone and look down on cheap. Mention a good deal and they wince. Mention a bargain and they change the subject. But that reflex isn't confidence. It's the fear that looking cheap means looking poor. Meanwhile, the actually rich are famously frugal. They'll happily drive the unsexy car and clip the coupon. So looking down on cheap is a loud sign someone can't actually afford expensive. Confidence with money sounds like that's a great deal. Never like a sneer. Sign 10. Their wealth needs an audience to exist. Take away the followers and the strangers to impress, and the spending makes no sense. But real wealth doesn't need a witness. It works exactly the same whether anyone sees it or not. Real wealth whispers. It doesn't require validation. So the louder someone's wealth shouts, the more you should check if anyone's home. So there's your full broke-rich gap checklist. 10 tells, 1 truth. Let's run them back fast so they stick. Constant money talk. Cheapest version of expensive. Lifestyle glued to the paycheck. Financing the unfinanceable. Allergic to boring money. Every purchase a performance. House poor and car poor. Zero margin for surprises. Looking down on cheap and wealth that only exists with an audience watching. The wider the gap between the image and the bank account, the faster that lifestyle bleeds someone dry. But here's the part that actually matters. It was never really about judging anyone else. The most important place to spot the broke-rich gap is in your own spending. So ask yourself one honest question. Are you buying things that serve your future or an image that's quietly bankrupting you? Because every dollar spent to look rich can't be used to actually become rich. The goal was never to look rich. Looking rich is expensive, exhausting, and leads nowhere. The goal is to be rich. And that path is quieter, boring, and it actually builds. Nobody at your funeral will remember your car, but your family will remember your choices. Close your brokerage gap, and one day you have the options most people only pretend to have. If this finally made the brokerage gap click, do me one favor and hit like. It genuinely helps this reach people quietly drowning in the show. Then tell me below, which of these 10 signs do you catch yourself doing the most? Be honest, just drop the number. And if you actually want to get good with money, subscribe. This whole channel is built to close that gap for you. Next, I'll show you the opposite list. Quiet signs someone is secretly wealthy even when they look broke. Because once you can read the broke-rich gap both ways, you'll never be fooled by a logo again.